Bitcoin retraces the Trump pump in search of a place to consolidate. Hey guys, it's Keith Allen, and well, today's a little bit better, at least for the moment. Anyhow, lots going on here in the market. Obviously, a lot of volatility around tariffs and the whole trade war BS. We're going to kind of cut through that noise today and look at what's happening. You know, we had this huge Trump pump that began on election day, just almost a straight line rip. With no consolidation. We were looking for that consolidation all the way up. If you remember, we talked about that at the time, and I'll revisit that here in the charts for you in a second. But it was an opportunity, where Bitcoin was just ripping and ripping and ripping, and I had concern that there was no consolidation because of exactly what we're seeing right now. There was no friction, there was no structure in the chart for price to pull back to. Either on a support test or even in a bear market. So now we're seeing, oh man, like I just said, price is rallying a little bit, and a new freaking headline just came across my screen that Trump just raised tariffs on China to 125%. This guy's a freaking clown. Okay, he's going to be in a pissing match with China, and everybody knows that these numbers aren't sustainable. Everybody knows this is a negotiation tactic, but he fails to realize that he is absolutely annihilating American businesses by doing this. And so, yes, everybody needs a little medicine is his phrase. But guess what? He's going to have some medicine of his own to swallow, because this is not going to be well received. He thinks he's going to be able to get the country back on his side and get the market back on his side by forcing through a tax bill. And well, quite frankly, he's not going to have the support that he thinks he has, because, well, there's some dissent among Republicans. But I digress. I just said that I wasn't going to go there, and I went there, right? So let's do this. I posted a couple of things. We're going to get into the charts here. Of course, we're going to look at the order book and fire charts. We're going to look at the candle charts and some TA and see where Bitcoin is trying to find a consolidation here in this environment. And so before I do that, just a reminder, it certainly helps me out if you smash some buttons here, especially the subscribe button, so you don't miss any of the streams, and share a comment. Live chat is open, by the way, so I'd love to have you join me. I'd love to engage with you guys. If you are watching on YouTube, you can certainly join the live chat there. If you're not in a position to watch live, if you want to leave a comment on the X platform, I will always engage with you there as well. So let's start. I had a couple of things that I had shared on the X platform this week that I want to just, in case you haven't seen them, I want to point them out to you so that you have a chance to go check them out if you haven't done so yet. So let's go to this one. And so I posted something, and I've talked about this for years. Ray Dalio used to run, Blackwater. He's retired now from that role. He's written a couple of books, including one called Principles of a Changing World Order, which basically talks about, this guy has researched hundreds of years of history, possibly even thousands of years of history of how the world order has changed. And when I speak of the world order, I talk about, I'm really referring to which country holds the world reserve currency, which we know is the US dollar since like World War II. But that gets challenged every 60 to 100 years or so. And we're in a situation where that's happening now. And it's been happening. It's been a process that has been underway for a couple of years. And he details in his book what that really means and what events kind of happen and lead up to that, and what the outcomes might be. And so I posted a reference to that on X here, but I then did a prompt to Grok to give me to analyze it and let us know how it sees middle-class Americans prepare and position themselves for what will likely be the outcome of this situation. And it's a really in-depth and interesting read that isn't really just for Americans. I encourage everybody to read it because this global trade war has a ripple effect around the world. Obviously, it's impacting all of us. So I encourage you to check this out and have a look because this is going to be relevant for each of you. It's a big picture perspective, basically that says what we're seeing here. Tariffs are really just a small slice of the pie. Now, in terms of what we're seeing in trading and price action at this point, I also shared a couple of things this morning about just some alts that were looking pretty good in the order book today. ETH, which rarely do I use the word ETH and looks good in the same sentence, but here we go. And also Solana. And look at the big mass of bid liquidity versus ask liquidity. Obviously, some of these way down low, and it goes lower. Might be stink bids, but this is the active range here. We touched this earlier today, or at least in the last 24 hours. And same with Solana, and both of those seem to be doing well. So my conundrum this morning was, do I want to, these look really good. I'm sitting here thinking I want to let this shitstorm pass and settle down before I get in, get into the mix a little bit more. But some stuff presenting themselves at good prices, good DCA opportunities, good scalping opportunities. And so, you have to know what your limits and what your parameters are to trade. You got to do what you're comfortable with, but just know that we're in an area where we've got some opportunity. Also seeing some notes here that we're seeing some changes in the order book and changes in price. So let's see what's happening right now. We see some buying happening and price moving up. We just cleared 80K, which is nice to see. So in terms of what I was referring to about, the Trump pump and the straight rip and consolidation levels. So here's the deal. Let's just break it down. I'm gonna go straight to and expand this on the daily chart here. Okay. So this was a consolidation range we had for a very, very long time, right? The 2021 top served as resistance for a couple of years, and then we approached this. We were rejected from it dozens and dozens of times, but this was a solid breakout that happened right on election day. November 5th was election day, and that's when we broke this level. Everybody's talking about 70K. I was always at 69, and I remain focused on that level as well. And straight candles coming right out of that, right? And this whole time I'm looking for consolidation levels, and we didn't get it. We had a few days here, so I grabbed onto that. We had, and that at the moment seems to be holding, but I don't have a lot of confidence, not yet, at least not if this trade war continues to escalate. And we ripped right through the 80s, up to 90s, up to 100, and then we finally got, we got up to what, 108K. What was it here? What was our high here? It was like 108K, pulled back, and this was really our first consolidation. I guess it really happened after we hit 100K. We had that first pullback, bit of consolidation here in the range, and then rejected again. Some more consolidation in the range, spiked to a new all-time high, came back, consolidated in that range again above that 93 level, and now that 93 level was actually the 2025 open. We had I think 91.5. I actually had that in here. There we go. This range here was also a consolidation range. That 86.6 to 91.6 level was another consolidation range. So historically, these consolidation ranges have been good places to buy, right? Price consolidates. Alts typically, when Bitcoin's crabbing sideways is when alts like to run a little bit, and so that may be an opportunity to look forward to coming up. But consolidation here in that 25 to 30 range, we had a consolidation here in the 40 to 45 range. I mean, very brief here in the 50K range before another straight rip up and into this 2021 range, right? 2021 top. And so, you know, the simple way of looking at this is these consolidation levels, they create friction, right? For price to fade back to. Now, we never went back and retested any of these, and I expected them to all year long, and it never happened, right? So I just, I went with what the market was giving me, and I continued to accumulate and trade. And so at this point, we ripped through, and there was nothing for price to hold on to on the way down. So the cascade to here should not be a surprise to the only surprise, really, in my opinion, is that price didn't go down further to say that 69K level, that 2021 top. And it certainly could, and it could even go lower down to this mid-cycle top is certainly a possibility. The mid-cycle top, if you remember, was here around 65K. So I don't rule any of that out. At the moment, we're grabbing onto a little bit. We're grabbing onto this little bit right here, and that is holding Bitcoin above for the moment. Throughout this process with these with this trade war in full swing here at this point, right? And I don't know that anybody's going to escalate to the level that it's escalating with China. That's our biggest trade partner. That's where the biggest threat is, not just in terms of trade, but all other forms of conflict. So it's something that has to be dealt with, and it's not going to be dealt with quickly and easily because we're talking about two guys who are massive narcissists. Two guys with a lot at stake, two guys that aren't willing to back down or admit that they were wrong about anything. And so I think, at least from what I'm reading, is that, China doesn't have a whole lot of wiggle room on this. It's likely going to be more painful to them than it is to us at this stage. So, Trump needs to create a, how should I say, a respectful exit ramp for Xi to get out of this. We'll see. We'll see how that develops. But at the moment, it's escalating, and it's going to continue to escalate. And it makes it difficult for any business to do business because you can't plan, you can't strategize because the goalpost is moving literally every day. So that makes it very difficult on American businesses. Enough of the politics about it. Let's just look at the structure and the tradability here. I mean, you look at what's happening here at the moment, and based on what we're seeing with all of this trade rhetoric, maybe this is an exit pump. At this point, I expect, there's so much technical resistance up in this region here. Obviously, the 21-day moving average coming into focus pretty soon here at about 83.5, it looks like. Let me pull them down here. The 21-day is at 83.450. Then we have the 100 and the 200 right above that. They're just coming off of this death cross. So I would expect things to probably stall out at this level. I mean, you've got this trend line as well. There's a lot happening right here that's going to make this very difficult to penetrate. Let's see what this level is here. Basically, between the 21-day is at 83.5 and the 200-day, we'll call that 86. We'll call it 87. Between 83.5 and 87. And let's now go look at the order book and see what we see at those levels. Let me zoom it out a little bit. We see Spoofy the whale making a little bit of an adjustment up, and that, of course, as you can see how price reacted to that. 83. So here we go. We have about 27 million at 83K. We have another 34 million at 85.5, and it just, it gets heavier from there. So this is going to be difficult to penetrate. Now, this one right here, this 85.5 level, if price approaches this, I expect this to move up as well. It's going to either roof pull or move up altogether. And so this is the pattern we've seen from this entity that I've affectionately named Spoofy the Whale. And so don't be surprised if that happens again. This actually looks like There could be 3 levels here that are associated with this entity. One is down here at 83. That's another 21 million. Okay, so we've got a lot to get through before we even get to these levels. But if we approach it, I do expect either roof pull or just movement. And it could move down too, right? Once things level off, right? So there's a little bit of resistance here happening. Oh, there we go. It just disappeared, right? Just got eaten. Price shoots up. And so, yeah, here's our next levels. Our next levels at 83. So be mindful of that and strategize accordingly. I also said I would look at some alts here. Let's see, ETH. Gosh, there was a good opportunity, and I'm a little frustrated with myself for not being well positioned for this. I was, contemplating what was going on. I've had this level set for the longest time, 1389. This was my target. I didn't have any bids placed there because I'm not happy with what I'm seeing in the market. So I just, kind of waited, and I missed that opportunity. And it was it was perfect. I mean, where did price go? 1385. I mean, that would have been beautiful. I missed it, but that's okay because I'm not convinced we're not going back there just yet. If you grabbed it, good for you. Great move. Let's see what else I was looking at. I was looking at Litecoin is another one. Man, Litecoin, I did pick some up on. I got I mentioned this on Blockchain Banter yesterday. I had an order placed. I got filled and stopped out in minutes, if not seconds. It was happening while I wasn't I wasn't in front of screens, but so I was kind of frustrated with that. Got filled and then stopped out, and then I bought back in. Not nearly at as good a price, but nonetheless, I'm in. Same thing with Solana. Oh, this was funny. The orange guy posted today that today's a great day to buy DJT. I don't know if he was shilling his stock or if he was shilling his shitcoin, but the stock went up considerably, obviously, on that news. Rejection now from the 200. That's the hourly. Excuse me. Rejection from the 20-day moving average, and a 21% pump. If anybody else in the world had done that, it would be considered manipulation. It would be an SEC violation, but we don't deal with rule of law. There's also, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know if he was talking about the stock or the shitcoin because I don't pay attention to either of them. So I initially looked up the crypto. Ready for this one? How about this candle? That is 200% on the day. Guess what's going to happen tomorrow? It's going to retrace because that's what it does, because it's garbage, like the namesake. So what did I say? Solana we would look at. SOLUSD. Solana coming off of the trend line here. This is kind of the RS flip line, if you will. And having a good candle at the moment, 11%. That's great on the day. Again, going to run into some technical resistance around the 21-day moving average. Let's see what the weeklies look like. Hitting resistance at the 100-week moving average as we speak. So all of that pretty interesting in my opinion. Unless there's something specific you guys want to see, I think this is pretty much a good overview of what we're looking at. I think that you need to be prepared for this to retrace, to have a rejection here, unless we see a catalyst in the form of cooling temperature, the temperature coming down on this trade war thing a bit, or a statement from the Fed, or maybe something making its way through Congress that's positive. I know that's kind of an oxymoron, but anything's possible these days. So bottom line is This is not a time to panic. It's a time to plan. And I hope that this data that I'm sharing with you is giving you some insight and some things that you might want to consider before you just start pushing buttons randomly. All right, guys. Hope that helps you out. Again, if you haven't smashed any of the buttons, do me a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share a comment, and I promise you I will engage with you on whatever platform you share them. Thanks again, as always, for the ongoing support. I really, really do appreciate it, and hope I'm helping you navigate this market a little bit safer. As always, trade safe, my friends.